entrepreneurship was really not on my mind at all. But then Mudra, where I used to work, developed the ambition, what with its initial success. They said, we have the right to be the largest agency of India.
So I think such an opportunity. We also have time limit, and so I'm going to fill in quickly. I'll be a disservice if I just considered sitting with a media personality, media veteran, because Sam is an entrepreneur who gives hope to thousands of people every day. So Sam, I think that's what makes this talk special for me and for every one of us here. That this entrepreneurship that you have led through years and through decades, I think, because every time an RO is going or pay receipt is coming in email, it generates hope. And that's what you're doing every day in and out for us. I would also mention, since we're talking about passions, every time in an event, and last time it was perhaps February 2020 when you were releasing your advertising report, medicine advertising report. Yeah. The passion that he shows for people, I think that says it all. So the passion for people, I think for me defines Sam, because I'm always looking to shake his hand in every event that I know he's coming, and we hardly do any business with him, but I think his passion for people is what gives you energy.
Why do you say we hardly do any business?
That's not big enough for you to be obliging any handshake with me. Yeah, but hope to do more, sir. So let me start with, and he was also leading jury for Trailblazer CMO Awards. So I think some good insights are going to come out for what he read about you all. But let me start with this little Urdu couplet that I was just trying to recall in the last few minutes. This is for you, Sam. खुदा का शुक्र है कि दिन दिखाया शादमानी का, करम फरमाइए गुस्ताख हूँ मेहरबानी का। बिलाशक तकलीफ तो हुई होगी आपको आने जाने में, बिलाशक तकलीफ तो हुई होगी आपको आने जाने में, मगर इज्जत हमारी बढ़ गई आपके तशरीफ लाने में.
Thank you.
So thanks for coming and thanks for taking out time for this DMA Asia gathering. I think some of us have been seeing each other for a few years. And so what keeps you ticking? I talked about entrepreneurship and passion for people, but what keeps you ticking, Sam, for decade after decade? Because it just has to be more than just passion.
Let me start with my school. I went to a school called Bishop Cotton Boys School in Bangalore, and the motto of my school was nec dextrosum, nec sinistrosum. Later on I learned what it stands for is neither to the left nor to the right, go straight on. So that is why I think for 33 years I've been going straight on with single-minded vision. No wasting of time for fancy modern day concepts like work-life balance and all those new concepts. I don't know who created them. But I think what keeps me going, you alluded to that. Number one, I think I love meeting people. I think the initial months of COVID, my worst months, because I was unable to meet anyone.
Yeah.
I must also tell you this, since you spoke a little bit about entrepreneurship. When I became an entrepreneur, I did not become an entrepreneur because I had this sort of dying passion to become an entrepreneur. I know today entrepreneurship is at a huge premium, and especially for those who are working or have worked for long periods of time.
Absolutely.
I had worked 16 years of my life, 8 in marketing with two companies called Sarabais and Cadbury, and then two in advertising agencies with Contract and Mudra. And I was chugging along, doing reasonably well. I think I shot a little bit into prominence at Mudra, because that was the time sponsored programs on Doordarshan had beginning to become popular, and we were at the forefront of it. With programs like Rajni and then Bunyad and all kinds of things. So entrepreneurship was really not on my mind at all. But then Mudra, where I used to work, developed the ambition, what with its initial success, they said, we have the right to be the largest agency of India, given the fact that it was owned by Ambani's. Obviously the what should I say, the billings or whatever we registered, even then probably wasn't even loose change for the Ambani. So they said, you guys are just wasting your time. And why should India's largest agency be a foreign company? Advertising is a local business, and Mudra should be India's largest company. And I thought to myself, at that time, I had taken a few days off because it was my two daughters' Navjot, the initiation ceremony. And I said, would I be happy heading India's largest agency? And I came to the conclusion very quickly that no. Because I thought to myself that as the head of a large agency, you'll be as far removed from advertising as probably Uday Kotak is today leading a bank. I'll just be managing men, material, resources, money and all of that. And I think in my stupidity, I thought that a good agency is a small agency with a few large clients. So with that in mind, that I thought was the ultimate agency in my scheme of things at that time.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think that's a lesson in business and lesson for any professionals.
So I must say I was terribly lucky, because at that time in Mudra we had two clients. We had many clients, but two of them, Godrej and Nelco, I approached them over 2 days, one evening. Both of them said, yes, we'll be delighted to give you business. Why don't you start? So Madison started. That's how it started. I'll tell you another thing. Having started Madison, for the first 5 years, I did not take on a third client. Now, I don't know if you would call that stupidity. By today's standard, I think it definitely is stupidity, or it was sheer genius. But quite a few clients did approach us. Some wanted to just give us the business, some wanted to call us for a pitch. I said no. I think I was I was afraid of letting down my two clients who had placed so much faith with just one person who I thought had nothing going for him, no money, no resources, no people. Why did they give me the huge businesses? So I was very clear in my mind that I cannot let them down. I just cannot let them down. So I said,
That was your resolve. Yeah,
let
so I
me
think
try and consolidate. Let me make sure they are delighted, they are happy. Taking on a third client. Incidentally, my third client is sitting there. That was Blue Star, who I think I met Sunil Advani, his boss, and I think he appealed to me, and then after 5 years, I think we decided to take on a third client.
So I think a lot of words of wisdom coming out of you've just thrown series of fabulous thoughts. You want to be largest or you want to be good. You want to follow your ambition or you just want to be heading a large organization, and so many business lessons. And but also because you've seen so many generations, Sam, what really can bring passion and drive in teams, in people that you're leading or that you're working with?
So I think as I grow older and as Madison becomes larger, I do realize the sort of importance of having a shared vision, or more than a vision, I would say shared operating principles. So according to me, it's easier to sell a vision. I don't know if I'm right, but that's what I feel. It's more difficult to get a buy-in to your operating principles. Because a vision, to my mind, we have our vision written on walls of all Madison offices, and I'm sure most Madisonites would subscribe to that vision. Perhaps our vision is not very different. We want to be the best agency in the world at meeting our clients' requirements and making sure that they make profits, earn profits in a sustainable way, kind of thing, or words to that effect. But I think the operating principles to get to that are, I think, where a founder's vision comes in. And I find that over the years, and especially not just over the years, over the generations, those are much more difficult to follow and come.
And also in the days of big valuations.
Especially in today's where there is, I must say, there is a huge premium on growth. I don't know, everybody and his uncle wants to just grow. Why does he want to grow? He wants to grow just for the sake of growth. To my mind, that's not a wise thing to do. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, maybe I think, and as somebody who spoke about happiness or satisfaction, I don't know if growth alone can be the ultimate provider of happiness and satisfaction.
Yeah, at the level
yes,
of
of course,
our hearts, we all know the answer.
You do
that,
need growth to maintain yourself, to make investments, and to do all kinds of things. But that's what I think.
Perfect. Growth or satisfaction? The answer is very clear. I don't know, this typical question about pandemic, how can I not ask you about that? Because we keep hearing and reading every day, this has changed us, this has changed marketing forever, advertising will never be the same, brand safety, and so much is being talked about. What do you think has changed, or has it changed forever? Or at the heart of it, humans and customers remain the same?
No, I dare say that I think in the first 3 months, the first 2 months of the COVID, that is in April 2020,
Yeah.
I did think that a lot is going to change permanently. But standing today, I don't think too much will change. I mean, advertising is back with a bang. I think I've never seen a October month like the one I saw, which I've just passed. I think for the first time in Madison's 33 years, good luck to you guys. I think I saw channels telling us that please don't send us release orders, we can't service your inventory. I've never seen that in 33.
Yep.
I obviously, when we were having discussions on cost cutting and all that, some senior managers suggested we should give up offices. Why do we need? If we need an office, we'll go to WeWork and all that. I resisted those kind of moves. They said, oh, Google is doing this, TCS is doing this. I was surprised to find that, to read in the front page of Economic Times that TCS has now issued instructions to all employees to come back to work from 1st January. And a lot of major deals are happening in hiring or renting of leasing of lakhs and lakhs of square feet.
Yep. Yep.
Hotels are doing very well. So
You just talked about some global brands, and this is very old debate. And for a change, I might also sound old-fashioned here, like you said, you are sounding one. When will we see an Indian brand going global, or you think there are already Indian brands that are global?
no, I think Indian brands are not global, I must confess, more or less. I think we'll have to admit that I think global brands do require a different kind of mindset, different level of resources. And I would say by and large, I think we should not kid ourselves. We are not that far up the marketing curve to develop quick ambitions of being a global brand. Also, I dare say, I think a few companies that have attempted to go abroad, and of course many companies are abroad, not many have even attempted it in the consumer brand space.
Yeah.
So we don't really have a history of even trying and failing. I think most people have been realistic. When you talk of brands, I'm having rum and coke. People used to say Old Monk is a global brand and those kind of things. But I think a true global brand or a true global company is, I think, going to elude us for some more time. At least that's the way I see it today.
Well, so we should also ask Sam someday on what's stopping us. But two quick questions I have. One is, because you've been in jury and you've been leading jury for Trailblazers, one big trait that you saw, something good about CMOs that are being awarded, you saw something good about them that you want to share here?
So I think my approach here would be to first recognize that by the day, marketing is getting more and more complex.
Yeah.
Marketing is getting more and more of science to some extent, and of course, a little bit of art. But one thing is, they're definitely becoming very complex, and it's becoming more and more difficult to win in the marketplace and grow. So I think my effort would be, my desire would be to recognize that talent which, if not has already succeeded, has demonstrated a good application of the mind and good application of certain sound marketing strategies that would put the brand on a solid footing and would begin to show signs of success. Also, I think my approach would have been that many companies are successful, but was that success marketing driven? I think India has no shortage of successful companies,
Yep.
but are those companies, is that success because of marketing? So I would say these are the two things that
For sure. So I
Look
think
for.
complexities and people winning within complexities are
Yes.
once we're using mind and strategy, and so good luck to them. My last question, Sam, any bold predictions, since the theme of the day is made of bold, any bold prediction for business in India or around Indian brands? Since you also write the reports.
No, if you meant predictions in terms of media spends, and I think I would wait for that till February middle when our report comes out,
Right.
and we do a lot of number crunching before we put out our figure.
Uh-huh.
Since you raised this subject, let me tell you,
Uh-huh.
in February of 2021,
Yeah.
our report predicted a 25% growth rate.
Mm-hmm.
And many people, including some of my clients, said Madison has gone mad. And I think by June and July, I was also beginning to wonder if we had made the biggest boo-boo of our lives. Sitting today, I get the feeling that we're there and that figure was right. I think more than a prediction, I'd probably like to say, and I think someone talked about brand purpose, I think I would put it a little differently. I think with every passing day, the days of safe advertising are gone. I think if in the olden days, when with Godrej, my first client, and when I put them on television, their then CMO, he was not called CMO, he was called marketing director, said, Rajni put many on the mat, but Godrej on the map. And at that time, the marketing environment was such that if any brand came on television, on Doordarshan, it succeeded. You just had to be on television. However stupid your ad, however lack of persuasive ad it is there, because you were on television, you had almost a right to win. Today, of course, it's not like that. Just because you advertise is no guarantee of success. And in that climate, I say that safe advertising is a big mistake. And I also dare say, I think many of you here are from large companies, that the larger the company, the approach is to make the advertising safer. You don't want to upset or offend anyone. And I think increasingly I'm getting the feeling that, especially in a country like ours and in today's situation with social media rules, it's impossible not to offend anyone.